What is up, world? Hello, 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 and welcome to Bleav in the Dallas Cowboys. My name is Jeff Cavanaugh. Hi.
Cavanaugh!
And this is my friend and former Dallas Cowboy, Jesse Holley.
Oh, Jesse Holley went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
Hi, Jesse. We've been gone for a while, but that's been my fault because there's been vacation and a break and out of town and things like that. How are you, Jesse?
Happy New Year. I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Getting ready for a Cowboy game that if they lose this one, we'll probably lose our minds because it doesn't look like the team you're playing against is very interested in trying very hard, which is smart because if you have nothing to play for, your job is to get a better draft pick. So congratulations to Washington. Good season. Jesse, you're going to be torn, though, because the starting quarterback is going to be Sam Howell. Where'd he go?
Yeah. The best university in the world. Mm-hmm. Heels.
Sam Howell out of North Carolina will be the Cowboys' opponent. And I bet he's missing a bunch of his offensive line because I saw their injury report and they're resting pretty much everyone. So we'll see who they're going to actually run out there. And so to me this week, the Cowboys aren't even really what's interesting. It's, is there any way that the Giants backups can beat the Eagles? Is there any way you're going to get any help? Otherwise, get ready to start talking about Tampa Bay.
Yeah, for Sam Howell, your famous words, go, baby. Find Terry McLaurin, find Samuel, find whoever you can. Get the son, preserve yourself, get ready for the offseason and get to battle for at least the backup job. Maybe even start. It depends, who knows what'll happen, with Heineke. But don't my words to Sam Howell is don't trying to do too much. But for the Cowboys, go after the young kids. Go get them.
Yeah, I mean, fifth-round pick who hadn't played NFL football yet, that's a prime opportunity to just go after somebody. By the way, we are brought to you by Bet Online. You got your basketballs, you got your footballs, you got the playoffs going on. You'll always get the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at Bet Online. And as your continued source for all sports wagering information, they feature live betting, free contests, giveaways all season long, the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events. No matter what league it is, they got you covered. BetOnline.ag, use the promo code Bleav, B-L-E-A-V, to receive your rewards. It's BetOnline where the game starts. And Jesse is live at the Star, where they are running Wi-Fi jammers. If you listen to the audio version of this and any of him cuts out, because Jesse, sometimes there are some cutouts happening. For the Cowboys in this game, I'd say one of the only things I'm real interested in is, well, first of all, I'm interested in if the Giants could pull off a miracle at the same time the Cowboys play so that the Cowboys have a chance to win the NFC East. But outside of that, there's two things. I haven't seen that really good defense that the Cowboys allegedly have in like 4 or 5 weeks. And I haven't seen a great offensive line performance, and I'm not sure how long. Zeke got under 2 yards a carry last week. You don't have Tyler Biadasz. McGovern, I'm sure, will be the center. We're going to see, can Jason Peters and Tyron Smith both hold up at tackle for an entire game and then go into the playoffs and still be ready to play? Like, I'm kind of worried about the offensive line. I wish the Cowboys had the ability to rest some guys, but I'm looking for, where is that defense that was supposed to be great, and what is this offensive line going to do? Can you run the football? Those are my first two things to look for. What about you?
Those are the only really things that you should be looking for in this football game. I mean, those are the two concerns when it comes to the Cowboys heading into the playoffs. It's, what does that music look like? Is Fournette going to come in and help some? Can Jason Peters 70 snaps? I know what he was. I know that he'll be a future Hall of Famer. I get it. 60 snaps, and don't say, oh well, he came in last game and when we lost the right deal and he came. Can he play 60 to 65 snaps? Now, hopefully, the way things are going, he doesn't have to play 65 snaps. Hopefully, they get up on this team early, cruise control in the second half, and so we're going to pull some guys out. But while he's in there, while Jonathan Allen isn't playing, the rest of those boys are. Chase Young still's playing, and the other Bama boy is still playing, and he's still a beast. And make no mistake about it, division, quote-unquote, rivalry, this is still one of those games where the coming more than to end their season on a win streak again. Yeah, that offensive line has to find a way to get some sort of stability in that front I'm, I do a show with Nate Newton, and he's been standing on the stairs. He hates all these guys rotating in every series. He's hated that all year long. He's like, man, listen, let's go, right? And then for the defense, they always say defense wins champions. I always say offense got to score one more point, but that's just me, the offensive guy, the wide receiver. But cornerback, Mike McCarthy came out this week and said they're still, whether it's Nashawn Wright or whether it's Kelvin Joseph, whether it's Deron Bland playing outside, sliding, the situation calls for. So that to me is concerning because where we're going. I harken back to last week, and I look at Tom saying, whoever the cornerback is on this right-hand side, we game long for a tune of, I think, 200 yards receiving and something like that. They went out there and did. So figure out a sustainable solution at that position, and Tom Brady, who already is the fastest at getting the ball out of his hands, we're going to be in for a very come next week against Tampa Bay in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I don't know who it's going to be, because it's starting to look like this is one of those things where you're supposed to be ready for this because you used a second-round pick and a third-round pick in the same draft on corners, and Kelvin Joseph and Nashawn Wright, and it looks like neither one can play. And so you're out here scouring the waiver wire for anybody that used to play for Clemson, Mullins and Alexander, and running through all these dudes. They haven't really found anybody that can play yet. So for the Cowboys, I don't know, it's wild that they're probably going to win 13 games. And as they're going into the playoffs, I'm looking at them and like, where'd the pass rush go? And did the pass rush go away just because the cornerback injuries caught up and teams don't have to hold the ball and they're just able to get it out? But the Cowboys have been a good team this year. And I do have a message just for the general public, for everyone out there. The Cowboys scored the most points in the NFC this year. They are 5 points behind the Kansas City Chiefs for the most points in the NFL this year. And they did that with a quarterback and an offensive coordinator and a head coach that a lot of you think sucks, even though they have an average offensive line, only one receiver, and they play an inferior running back over their better running back the majority of the time. Somebody that y'all hate is good. Somebody that y'all hate is pretty damn good, because you played 5 games with a backup quarterback with an average line, one receiver, and a better backup running back than starting running back, and you scored the most points in the NFC. One of the guys that y'all don't think is any good is good. I'll let you pick, though.
Yeah, I think out of those names, quarterback, head coach, and offensive coordinator, I think all of those guys are good. I, for one, don't put any of those guys in the elite category. But the thing is, when it comes to playoffs, and that's because I get the regular season, and that matters because you don't get to the playoffs unless you have a successful regular season. Completely. The thing about, for me, when it comes to the play caller, even throughout the goodness of who they all are during the season, there's that the play caller will have. And I get it. All play callers have them at some point. It seems as if in the playoffs where we either cannot stop play caller and quarterback are glitching at the same time. And that's what you cannot. You can't have play caller and quarterback glitching at the same time. The really good teams, the quarterbacks, if the play caller is glitching, they're able to save their butts. That this season, saving some butts, which in return has cost him some with in some of his throws, not all of his throws, but some of his throws that have led to turnovers. And this is, you and I haven't had this conversation, but I brought this up maybe like a week or two. I think Dak has hit his ceiling with Kellen Moore. That is because when I look at Kellen Moore and Dak, I look at two guys who not too were basically teammates. We're guys who are in the same meeting room fighting for everything out. And I think Dak and Kellen Moore is more peer-to-peer player. And I think as long as that relationship, that peer-to-peer relationship, there is a cap. Because sometimes you need to come to the sideline and have a coach kind of get in your butt and say, hey, you can't do that stupid bleep, 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 bleep. And I think Dallas sometimes thinks about bruising the friendship, and that gets in the way of him at times critically coaching Dak Prescott to where. So I think that peer-to-peer relationship between Dak and Kellen Moore has kind of at times capped as a quarterback, and that's why I have the concern with those two in those pressure moments in the playoffs.
See, the thing I worry about in the playoffs is that you're about to ask Dak to do everything for you on a team that doesn't have enough for him to do everything for you. Like, if you're not going to show me again that you can run the ball, or that you can stop the run, or that you can stop the pass, it's just, I don't know. They've reached a point with the way they're playing defensively and the way they struggled to run the ball very recently with offensive line injuries, where my concern with the Cowboys is that Dak and CD and Pollard is all you got. And like, what if you got to win by scoring the most points? It's worked so far, but you're going to get into the postseason and these other teams that can block and have multiple good receivers. And I don't know. I feel like even though they're winning, and I'm generally a Cowboy optimist, I'm just looking at the way that they've played the last probably 3 weeks, and I'm going, oh crap. Like, they missed Terrence Steele. I wish you had your offense. They're gonna get everybody back. I guess they're gonna get everybody back. I need to see the defense that I saw the first 10 weeks of the season if I'm gonna think that this team has a chance to do something.
I don't think that defense is there anymore. Honestly, I don't. Down on whether we'll get Hankins back. Leighton Vander Esch may come back, but still, they can say it's a stinger all they want, but I know it's more so of a kind of a neck injury type he's dealt with before in the past. So what player are you going to get back with Leighton Vander Esch? I don't think that defense is there. I think Micah is completely wore down. Like brake pads is scraping. And I think if anybody needed a first round bye, just a little bit more, I'd be playing by last year, they're giving a couple of days off. But if anybody needed that particular rest, it's a guy like Micah Parsons who was able to dominate. But I just think he's worn down so much, and he is the engine behind this defense. If it's him, guys eat off of him. When he's able to create the havoc and create the pressure, then other guys get the rest of the meat off the bone. But if he's not being able to get to the quarterback, he and Trevon Diggs are the two game wreckers, and less of easily make Trevon Diggs not a game wrecker by just not throwing his direction. But for Michael, he's not in game wrecking mode. Then I find another game wrecker up front. And I know you're going to say Tank, but I don't know if Tank's a game wrecker.
I haven't seen. I'm not even aware that Tank played the last 2 or 3 weeks. I hadn't noticed Tank Lawrence in 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, one of those guys is going to have to do it. And then after this week, we'll have a bunch of stuff to talk about because I like that you'd adjusted because the sun was looking really good on your camera, Jesse. But we're also having some skipping around from Wi-Fi. So what we're going to do is we're going to shut this mofo down, and we're going to watch the Cowboys go beat up on the Commanders, and then we're going to talk about their offensive line, and then we're going to talk about their defense, and then we're going to see how we feel going into Tampa Bay. I love you.
One question before we go. We'll talk about it next time. Is at any point in time you exalt all that you can out of T.Y. Hilton and bump him up maybe to that wide receiver?
I'm assuming you said bump him up to the third wide receiver. I would have to. Two. I mean, considering that Noah Brown and Michael Gallup are both in the bottom 10% of the NFL in terms of separation per route run, yeah, probably. But man, Michael Gallup is going to have hurt feelings and Jerry Jones is going to have a hurt pocket. We'll see what happens this week. I would play him more.
Okay.
For sure. This is Bleav in the Dallas Cowboys, brought to you by our friends at Bet Online. That is Jesse Holley. I am Jeff Cavanaugh. You can find him on DallasCowboys.com, A to Z Sports right here. Being an athletic director at your favorite school, you can find me on 97.1 The Freak, Monday through Friday, 7 to 11 a.m. in DFW, and on the iHeartRadio app if you're outside the listening area. Go Cowboys. And remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everyone. We love you. Bye.
Contingencies.